Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to be doing a review of the new Huda Beauty Rose Quartz Eyeshadow Palette. I'm going to be doing a full look with this palette, playing around with it, getting a feel for it. I'm going to give you my final review after my first impression, and I'm also going to be doing swatches at the end of the video. So if you're interested in this beautiful baby right here, then keep on watching. So this palette is another one of Huda Beauty's beautiful palettes. I do have her new nudes palette. That was like a huge hit, one of my favorites. Still, I have her nudes naughty palette. I forget the actual name of it. One of my favorites as well. Really love that palette too. I absolutely love her eyeshadow formulas. Some of the best eyeshadow I've worked with. So I have really high hopes for this one. As you can see, the packaging is just like next level stunning. I think this is probably her most beautiful palette yet that I have seen. I love the design of it. I love the color scheme of it. And I do love the actual color scheme of the palette as well. So when you take a look inside, you can see that it is just as beautiful inside as it is outside. So this palette includes 8 velvety soft pigmented mattes, 3 high shine buttery metallics, 3 pearly soft shine metallics, and 3 quartz inspired multi-shimmer marble creams. And then you also will see this one right in the center, which is one of her pearly gloss hybrids. Now, I was not a huge fan of that formula. I don't know how I'm going to incorporate it in today's look, if I even am going to. I'm sure I'll do a good swatch and kind of, if it's very similar to the last one. I did not love that formula because when I applied it on the eyelid, it would break down the eyeshadow underneath and kind of shift it around. So I didn't really like actually incorporating it. I mean, you could use it as kind of a gloss on its own, but to me, it's just like not really what I'm looking for. Some people like to use them on the brow bone or on the cheek. That I feel like would be the best way to utilize this type of formula, but the last one was too dark for my brow bone and for my cheek. We probably will use it on the brow bone and the cheek just to see if it works. I'm honestly not super like pumped to see that formula in here, but luckily it is only one shade, so we still have 17 absolutely incredibly beautiful looking shades in here. A very rosy, earth-toned kind of palette. On the more cool toned side, there's really no warm tones in here. There's some neutrals, but it's mainly cool toned, which I don't think she has. Especially in her larger size palettes, there's not a whole ton of cool toned palettes like the other two I just mentioned were neutral verging on warm. So yeah, I really love, as I said, just the packaging, the color scheme, and I do love the kind of idea behind the palette. Let's just go ahead and play around. I'm gonna go ahead and create a look, just play around, and I will be back with my final review of this palette, and then at the end of the video, I will have those swatches for you guys. First, I'm gonna go in with my MAC Paint Pot and prime the eyes. Okay guys, so this is the finished look, and let me tell you, I am obsessed. So I obviously didn't use all the shades. I do have to continue to play around with this palette, but from all of the shades that I used, I'm thoroughly impressed. All of the mattes were pigmented, blendable, as per usual with Huda Beauty. I like the variety of mattes. You know, you have the more really cool toned options. Like I used this one down here. You have these ones here that are still very cool toned and kind of rosy, kind of purpley, but have a little bit more of that earthier tone. So it's not too cool toned, which was perfect. This one here is really nice for, I used to smudge out the liner to kind of soften that edge, which worked really, really well. With the mattes, you could create some really, really simple everyday looks with these lighter shades here. But then you also could really smoke it up and get really glam with those darker ones. So mattes through and through that I used were very pigmented and blendable. So A+ for the mattes. When you go to the marble, I used one of the marbled shades, and it is absolutely stunning. So these marble shades typically come off as like almost a duochrome because it's two shades in one, and when you mix them together, it creates a really beautiful effect. So this is the one that I have all over my lid. It is this like duochrome kind of purple with like it's almost like iridescent kind of vibes. When you look at this shade, I'm obsessed with this shade. It's so beautiful. I want to like bathe in it. The other marbled shades, I will do a little like quick swatch here just to show you. This is like a lighter option, but so pretty as well. These are probably some of my favorite shades in the Huda Beauty collection, like palettes, because they're very unique and the texture is really, really nice and creamy, and it almost feels slightly creamy, like a cream to powder kind of eyeshadow. So this is that one there. As you can see, it's like a nice soft pink with like I think it's more of like a champagne shift. Really, really pretty. And then you have a little bit more of like that earthy tone over here. And this is going to give you a little bit more of a kind of bronzy golden vibe, but still not like super. See how you can kind of see the two different shades? Like it creates a really beautiful effect. So I love the options, very different shades. So it's going to open up to so many different looks you could create. And then her metallics are so beautiful. So there is high shine metallics, and it said low shine metallics or something like that. So I believe the high shine ones are like this here, this one right here, and probably this one right here. And then you can see the one that I used here, and then there is like this one and this one. Those ones are a little bit less, you can even see in the pan, they're a little bit less light reflective. So they're gonna be some more subtle metallic options, which I love, just the variety in color, but not only color, in texture as well, and in degrees of like intensity. So it's not gonna all be bam in your face, but you do have those options. Long story short, I think this palette is absolutely stunning. I think it comes with so many options in a more cooler toned color scheme, which is incredible. You know, you have these kind of almost like galaxy vibe, kind of, like I said, iridescent opal tones, but then you have some more pink you can play with. You have kind of, you could do some more like earthy toned looks, and so much variety. So I am even looking at this palette and picturing all the different looks I could create with this, and it's like limitless, it seems. Like very, very versatile and lots of options in there. So really love, from my first impression, this look I'm obsessed with, and I'm excited to have this in my collection. Last but not least though, let's touch base on this one here. So as I said, I'm not a huge fan of the formula, and I do stand by that after using it today. I did only use it on my brow bone because I did get quite a bit of fallout from the metallic shades. The nice thing about Huda Beauty's mattes is they have almost no fallout. Minimal, at least. Her metallics though, especially if you're using your finger or a dry brush, that's when they do start to fall. Like I got quite a bit of fallout. I was able to kind of fix it up a little bit, but there was a little bit of residual. It did transfer onto my skin a little bit. It ended up working out totally fine because I did end up going in with some of the eyeshadow on my cheek anyways. But if you are really concerned about that, then maybe do your eyes first, as some of these shades are quite bold and bright, and it's going to be very noticeable on your cheeks if you aren't careful. You can also wet your brush, which will minimize fallout. That's something that I recommend. So there's tips and tricks to avoid it and minimize it, but if you're totally like concerned and you don't want any fallout, just do your eyes first. But as I said, I did get some fallout, and so I did kind of want to go in with something that was a little less risky. I wasn't sure if this was going to break down my foundation, and I just didn't want to ruin my makeup. So I didn't go ahead with on my cheekbone, but I did do it on the brow bone. It's kind of like an oily, like glossy texture, which is fine because that's what it's supposed to be, but I just personally don't love those to begin with. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the glossy eye look. But also I just find that this formula does break down the eyeshadow if you apply it over top. So applying it on the brow bone is just about the only thing that I would do with this eyeshadow. To be fair though, this shade is much more suitable to fair skin tones than the last one. So if you are looking into the Naughty palette, it's a more almost like rose gold kind, if I can remember correctly. It had a much darker color to it. This almost has that kind of like sheer opal, like opalescent color to it. So it's pretty. It is really pretty. It's just very subtle, and I just don't love the formula. So unfortunately, I don't really like, I'm not excited about that shade. I probably honestly won't use it, but I did want to make the comment that, to be fair, I do like this shade better though than the last palette. So at least there's that. The rest of the palette though, to die for. I would definitely recommend this palette, like A+. Another hit from Huda Beauty. If you want to see swatches of the whole palette up close and personal, then keep on watching. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, give me a thumbs up down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.